At the previous lecture, we assume dividend have some pattern, right? So first we run constant growth. In this case, G should be less than RS, right? G means dividend growth. So we can say dividend grow forever at constant rate. In this case, we can apply some formula, right? And now we assume there's a non-constant growth. The first case, the dividend does not change, right? It means G equal to 0. Very strict assumption, right? What is this? Do you remember? Here, right? We already calculated G equal to 0. We call this preferred stock. And now we add more case, the supernormal case. When the dividend grows at a supernormal growth. So G larger than RS. And the third case, G equal to 0, it means dividend does not change for some years before long run constant growth rate. And last one is negative growth. It means dividend declined. Dividend is declined. We can write down as this G less than 0. So this lecture we will talk about these three cases: supernormal growth when G equal to 0 for some years before long-run constant growth rate, and negative growth. In this case, the supernormal growth, what if G, the dividend growth rate, is 30% for 3 years before achieving long-run growth of 6%? And this is more realistic case, right? The company stock growth is fast in few years. Supernormal growth cannot apply the constant growth model to find the stock value. Why? A constant growth model, they should have one required condition: G should be less than RS, right? But in this case, G is 30%, dividend growth 30%, and RS is same, right? Same with previous example, 13%. So we cannot apply the constant growth model in this case. However, they grow does become constant after 3 years. So let's check in timeline. As you can see, after 3 years, the dividend grows at the constant rate, it is smaller than this RS. So we can write down as this. The RS is larger than G, so we can apply the constant growth model. Yeah, that is here, right? In the constant growth model, the numerator is D4. D4 is here, right? And the denominator is RS. RS is here. And G. G is here, right? Finally, we get this number. But this number is P3, right? So we should discount. So this number comes from P3 hat divided by 1 plus RS. RS is 13%. Discount how many times? It is P3. So discount 1, 2, 3, right? So discount 3 times, so power of 3. That is this number. As we learned before the 3 years, we cannot apply constant growth model. Why? G is larger than RS. G is 30% and RS is 13, right? So we cannot apply constant growth model. In this case, we should discount each terms manually. Let's calculate together. At the first dividend at T1, we can calculate as this: 2.6, 1.13, and second one is 3.38, discounts 1.13. How many times? Yeah, it discounts 1, 2, right? So power of 2. And dividend at year 3, 4.394 divided by 1.13. Power of what? Power of discount 1, 2, 3, so power of 3. Now we calculated all the present value of the future cash flow, future dividend, right? We have the present values. And one important thing is the sum of these 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? No, just sum of these 4. Why? Because D0 means what? A current dividend. So D0 is already paid. So we don't calculate D0 when we solve the present value of the future cash flow. Until now, we checked the supernormal growth case. And now we are going to run the dividend does not change for some years before long-run constant growth rate. Here is the example, the non-constant growth. What if G equal to 0 for 3 years before long-run growth of 6%? As you can see, after 3 years, we have constant growth rate, and the G is smaller than RS, right? So we can apply constant growth model. But as you can see, for 3 years, the people long run growth, the G equal to 0, right? How can you solve? Yeah, solve by hand. So the year 1, 2 divided by 1.13, right? Because the discount rate is 13. And second one, 2 divided by 1.13 and discount 2 times, right? And this number comes from year 3 dividend and discount 3 times. And sum of these 4, you get the intrinsic value of this stock. Until now, we have an example about dividend does not change for some years, people long run constant growth rate. And the final case is negative growth. It means dividend is declined. Here is example. If the stock was expected to have negative growth, the dividend growth is minus 6%. Would anyone buy the stock? And what is its value? In this case, can we apply the constant growth model? What is required condition of the constant growth model? Do you remember? The G should be less than RS, right? In this case, G is minus 6% and RS is what? 13%. As you can see, G is less than RS. In this case, we can apply constant growth model, right? As you can see, this is constant growth model, the general formula. When you input the numbers, the G0 and G and RS, we already know, right? And finally, you get this number. It's positive. Even though the firm's dividend growth rate is negative, the firm still have earnings and pays dividends, so they still have value. So far, we run the constant growth model, and the next time, we will run the corporate value model. Thank you.